So we live in this culture of stress. So the first thing that happens when the infrared comes into the body and this vasodilation happens and the muscles start to relax within that is you go from a sympathetic state to a parasympathetic state. So sympathetic is the fight or flight, the running from the tiger, the stressed out response. And parasympathetic is rest and digest and, I feel good, all right? But most of us in our culture live in this stressed point. So we live there so much, we're not even aware of it anymore. So the body in its infinite wisdom really can't heal. It won't put energy into healing so much when it thinks it's being chased by a tiger. It's really wise. So the body says, look, we'll do that healing, but let's get rid of the tiger first. So when you get in the infrared sauna, doesn't matter what's going on in your life, this physiological process of the vasodilation, of the muscle relaxing, of everything heating up is going to happen. It's going to put you into parasympathetic, okay? And that's where the healing can begin. A lot of people that I've seen over the years in our saunas, and I've talked to a lot of people that have used our saunas and their outcomes, what I've come to believe is that if you're really stressed out, and if you're ill, you're stressed out, you have even stresses on top of that, that the set point between sympathetic and parasympathetic gets skewed. It gets off the meter. So using the sauna regularly will reset this set point in your autonomic nervous system between sympathetic, fight or flight, and parasympathetic, rest and digest. And this is just so huge for healing, for just starting on the road of healing. So that's number one. Number two, when the wavelength comes in, and I talked a little about the 9.4 micron, all right? That a lot of the infrared energy that we create in our sauna is the same that the energy that's being put out. So that's called a resonant frequency. Now, why is that important? Now, I don't know if you remember, you may not, but this was back in the old days. There was a TV commercial for Memorex cassette tape, and it says, is it live or is it Memorex? And this was Ella Fitzgerald, a great singer. And so Ella would break a glass with her voice, just getting that right note. So if you ever want to try this, take a wine glass and you hold it by the bottom and you ping it with your fingernail. And the wine glass will give out its own tone. That's the tone that you need to put back into the wine glass. And if you will do that, it will start to vibrate. And if you can do it with enough clarity and power, it will shatter the glass. So the Japanese, Kabara and Inoue, back a long time ago in Japan, figured out that that resonant frequency also carries over into the human body and into water cells. That if you could get this resonant frequency using heat, using infrared, what happens? The water molecules within the cells will vibrate, and this is how the toxins cleave off. And then they go through interstitial fluid, and then they go out through the organs of elimination and hopefully sweating. Now, sweating's not necessary in order to detox, but it's definitely a good pathway for that to happen. So we took this information, and that is what has informed us for the last 18 years on our heater design. So we're in our 6th generation heaters to get more and more of that 9.4 micron into the body and some other markers in order to heal the body. So we're actually healing with the wavelengths. We're actually making a difference. Most people think, oh, you get in a sauna, you heat up, that's great, you sweat, you walk. No, there's so much more to it that we've worked on to get it to that point. So that's the second thing, is detoxification. So we have stress elimination, detoxification. I'll go to the third one, which is weight loss. Now, there's been a term coined obesogens, which has to do that many people can't lose weight because the toxins are stored in the fat cells. So I've known people, they don't eat more than a couple pieces of celery, they work out, and the weight will not leave them. And the reason is the body cannot lose the fat until the toxins leave. So we did a study with University of New York, SUNY, Binghamton. It was really, really interesting. So we put 20 subjects in our saunas, and we had them take a sauna for half an hour, 5 days a week, for a total of 8 weeks. And at the end of it, and we had a control group that did not do that. So at the end of those 8 weeks, only 8 weeks, half an hour in the sauna, 5 days a week, they lost an average of 4% body fat. Now the control group, unfortunately, did not. I would rather have been in the sauna group. So I think that's because of what I told you about the detoxification. And also it's been postulated that we're boosting the metabolism with the heat. When you heat the core up in the way that we're doing, we know that we're boosting the immune system, but we're also boosting the metabolism. And so you're burning more calories. If you go on Kaiser's website, they talk about using the sauna. Sauna is a good thing for pain, and also that you can burn up to 300 to 800 calories in a single sauna session. Now, we were talking before, I like to walk. I walk 5 miles every day. But you know, walking only burns, and I'm going to keep walking, I love it. Walking only burns 100 calories in an hour. Or, I'm sorry, in a mile. If a mile takes you an hour, you're in bad shape. But so when you compare that with using the sauna, and I use my sauna every day. If I don't use my sauna, I can feel it. It's like there's a backup in my body. So that's stress reduction, detoxification, weight loss, immune system boosting. Okay. Now let's talk about skin health a little. Most of the people have reported to us over the last 18 years, after they get their sauna, we'll get this message, you know, I bought the sauna because of my arthritis, but I noticed that within the first week my skin got softer. Now, why is that? That's because the detoxification happens very close at the skin. So the first thing that gets purified is the skin. And it does. It's going to feel different. It's going to feel softer. It's just going to feel clean in a different way. So those are the main benefits. Now let's go to heart health. Big study just came out this year, and that was published in JAMA and also reported in Harvard Health Review. That was a 20-year study, 2,300 men. They started them at 50 years old. And what they wanted to find out was, what is the effect of using the sauna on morbidity and heart health? So what they found is really interesting, that if you use the sauna, the people that use the sauna for one time a week, out of that 20-year period, they had 58% of them were dead. All right? If you use the sauna 2 to 3 times a week, only 38% died within that period of 20 years. But if you use the sauna 4 to 7 times a week, your chances of dying, there was only 31% of the people that died. So it's a huge study, and it's over a long period of time, and it had a large amount of people. So it's a very interesting study. So there have been a lot of journal peer-reviewed articles about heart health and just healing the heart. But it makes sense because we're getting all this blood to flow through. We're helping to reduce obesity, which is going to make your lipid panels better. They're going to have more of the good HDL and less of the LDL and the triglycerides that are bad for you. So that's heart health. Reduction of pain. When you go in and this vasodilation happens, the muscles relax. And if you think of pain chemicals, they actually isolated what's called substance P. And that's what actually gets the pain nerves to get activated. And any area that you have pain, a lot of times you'll have inflammation. So in this coursing of blood through your body that's caused by this heart that's pumping after it senses the vasodilation, you're going to move toxins and you're going to move chemicals like that out of the system. So you get a pain reduction just from that. So the last one I would like to just touch on very briefly are autoimmune diseases, which have just skyrocketed recently in people's sensitivities to chemicals and electromagnetic fields and all kinds of things. So we have a toxicity load that we can handle, and everyone is different. It's called a toxic burden. So when your toxic burden gets to a certain level, your body starts to go out of kilter because it's storing all these toxins. The toxins are mimicking hormones in the body, and that's where you get sort of a body gone rogue. And then it starts to see friendly things in the body as not friendly. So this is sort of the thumbnail basis of allergic reactions, autoimmune, is the body attacking itself. But what we've seen and found that if you can bring down the toxicity level, many of these symptoms that will sometimes mimic other diseases will start to abate and sometimes disappear. Again, we're not curing anything. We're just giving the body a fighting chance. Did you know that there's 80,000 chemicals in our environment that our great-grandparents did not have, that weren't here, that weren't evident? So one of the studies I like to pull out from time to time and get heart, there's the President's Council on Cancer. And this was sponsored by National Cancer Institute. So the president has its own council of learned PhDs and doctors. And they put together a couple hundred-page report that talked about the role of toxicity in causing cancer in the workplace. And they said that in the study, in the first page, they said we were surprised at how prevalent these toxins were and how most people weren't even aware of it. And so their recommendation was avoid toxins at all costs. Avoid toxins in the workplace and at home and in your food. Well, that's really great, except all of us in this planet are filled with toxins. They're already in our bodies, so it's not a matter of avoiding. We're living with them right now. So the question is, number one, how do you get the toxins that are in our bodies out so you can regain your health? And how do you come up with some kind of plan to keep the toxins that are all around us in our air and our clothes, in the food, in the water? They found jet fuel in water in California. I mean, and now you're even talking about the prescription drugs that are too small to be filtered out that are coming into our water supply all the time. So how do you get those out on a daily basis? I really think that it's such a big problem that the government really can't talk about it too much because they don't have a system to clean it up.